Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode at Peak. I'm Arav,
And I'm Varun.
and today we're joined with a very special guest who is a co-owner of Keywordio, a co-founder of AdHelp, and also a frequent speaker at Google. Jonas.
Thanks, guys. Nice to be here.
Super nice to have you here. So before we start off with anything, tell us something about yourself to the audience who don't know you yet.
Yeah. So I'm a very proud father. 2 kids at home, 8 and 10 years old, and I think we will speak some more about them later in the podcast episode, because I think they are in a very interesting world right now. That's going to change a lot the coming 10 to 15 years. So I look forward to share more about that later.
Awesome. Just before we dive in Keywordio, just to know a little bit more about you, how was your educational background, and who is Jonas behind the brand title of co-founder?
Yep. So I am I'm a very happy person living in Stockholm, and I have like you guys, you're studying at Stockholm School of Economics, and I think that's a great place, and I understand you worked really hard to get to that position. And I was really thankful for being able to study at KTH. That's why I'm also really happy when I get the chance to do guest lectures at KTH or at Handels as well, because I want to give back to some of all the great things that I received from studying there. I mean, privately, I'm a football coach for my son.
Football coach?
Yeah, exactly.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so I'm a coach in Djurgården. I look very professional when I stand on the sideline. I have not played that much soccer in my life, but I think it's very fun, and it's very fun to be a coach.
But what position does your son play?
So he's so young right now. So we are, making sure everyone
so
gets
like
a chance
every
to play.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but it's really fun, and I think it's also interesting to see different personality characters that really comes out on the football field.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's fun.
Now that we are talking about football, I have this very interesting question for you.
Yep.
Who's your favorite football player?
So of course the big famous names right now, but if you go back when I was young, it was back in the days when Thomas Brolin was really famous in Sweden.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So of course it was really sad that he got a really bad injury that really sidetracked his career. But of course he was a big idol when I was young.
No, that's a pretty unique answer. Like I thought you would say Ronaldo or
Yeah,
Messi
exactly.
or Neymar, Mbappe, something like that. I didn't expect
Nobody
that.
talks about Thomas Brolin.
Yeah.
I'm getting old. That's why.
No, but were you always in soccer, or was it like because of your kid that you
Yeah,
got
no,
into
but
it?
I come from the countryside. Played a lot of sports when I was young. Ice hockey, handball is quite big in Sweden.
Yeah.
And then I moved to study in a gymnasium, and then I sort of quit sport, and then I only did like individual, like workout and running. So I sort of lost the sort of team sport things after that.
And do you think that impacted you in a way, like in a negative way, or?
No, I think I think I always want to do a really good job, no matter where I am. If I was in the military, I want to do a great job there. If I was in school, I wanted to do a really good job, and I think that probably comes from my parents. Like I always want to do a good job for them, and if I did something that I was proud of, I called my mom and said like, hey, I did this, and she was also always like, amazing,
Yeah.
wow.
That's super good.
Yeah, and then I tried to tell my dad, and he was a bit tougher to impress, I would say.
I relate a lot to that.
Yeah.
So who do you call? Do you call your mom or your father first?
I call my brother first.
Oh, brother
And,
first.
I have my older brother.
Yeah.
He's 4 years older than me,
All right.
and he lives in London now.
Oh, okay.
But growing up, I lived with him until he was 18, and then he moved out for university. But then he's been like my closest person, and then I'd call him first. Anything happens in my life, he's like the first person to know.
Nice.
And then both my parents, I called them at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The FaceTime call.
Yeah.
No, for me, same as well. Like, we have this WhatsApp group chat, and
Yeah.
I just do like a group call, and
Yeah.
then honestly, whoever picks up, I just tell them first. So, yeah.
Or I tell Arav first.
Yeah. But you
Nice.
also mentioned about being good in school.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty interesting
That is-
topic
that
because
is.
you did graduate from KTH.
Yep.
One of the top universities, not just in Sweden, but in the
With
world.
a 4.9
9
GPA.
Yep.
And what's your secret?
Yeah, I've always been blessed with having amazing people around me, and not only in terms of smart people, but also great hearts that really cared for everyone around them. And for example, one of my friends from school who I was studying with, I was in a good way. I was always trying to be a little bit better than him.
Yeah.
Like I didn't beat him on a single small exam. Like
Yeah.
if I were doing like all correct answers, then he had a plus sign or something like. So always have, and I think also, for example, Henrik that I think about now. I mean, he's also been one of the most intelligent people that I've been around,
Mhm.
but he's also extremely good on explaining complex things very simple.
Okay.
And I think that is something like in school, it's not about learning to do the task. It's actually all about trying to understand what is the problem. So you can do there's a lot of talk today about first principle thinking, but really it's about, do I understand what is?
Like conceptual understanding.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the
Yeah.
question behind the question, do I really understand this? And I mean, today when there's a lot of hype about AI, do I really understand what is happening behind the scenes here? And if the answer is no, then you should probably think about that.
True.
So I think that has been my way of learning. Now I read really slow. I probably a bit dyslexic because I see that on my kids.
Yeah.
So that has been a challenge for me. But really trying to understand things from the ground has been the key for me. And then being the lucky to have really smart people that are both smart and having the right types of heart.
So you
around
do
me.
believe that it's really important who you surround yourselves with.
Yeah.
And you become like them.
Yes.
Like, let's say if you're with 4 billionaires, you become the 5th.
Yeah.
Like that saying.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That's an interesting take, actually. But like, then I'm kind of curious about, let's say someone is stuck in a group, a friend group that he or she doesn't think is like motivating him or her. In that case, how does one like transition to this new like new environment where they can like really become a better version of themselves? Because that's a little bit difficult, I think. I mean, once you're already with like certain people, I think it's difficult to like get a new group sometimes.
Like change friend groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
you-
true. That's really hard.
Have you
I-
got
I
it's
don't
really
know.
hard.
Got him thinking.
Yeah. So what I would do, and I think this goes for if you look at your life, it will have different periods, and you
Yeah.
will surround yourself with different people. But if you're actively thinking about who you surround yourself with and spending time with,
Yeah.
then it's not just one thing like this. But let's say that you want to understand the topic of AI, for example, more. Then okay, what are the forums you have around you where you can spend time?
Mhm.
And if you live in Stockholm, you have a lot of different opportunities. So then it's just go out and figure that out, and then make sure to spend time with them. But today there's no problem. Then you can just find these forums online to spend time with that kind of people there. So if you're actively looking, like, this is what I'm missing, this is the type of people I would like to surround myself with, then I mean, you guys have done a great job because you have already put yourself in a really promising position to have a lot of ambitious people that will work hard. So I think you will definitely have a lot of amazing people around
That's
you.
true.
But I mean, that will change your life. You take your first job and then you start spending more time there. So just being mindful about it and continuously working with it. Because that change, I mean, now I'm like a bit more than 40 years old. Like the people that I've spent time with, that's changing quite a lot, right? Of course, now I spend most of my time with my family and Louise, my wife, and I think, you know, that we are building a future together. I mean, that is something that I want to spend most of my time on together with my kids. So the change over the lifetime, I would say.
Okay, and also, I mean, obviously you graduated from KTH, but at that time AI wasn't such a big thing. So at that point in time, when you were done with your degree,
Yep.
what was your journey like? How did you get into AI,
Yep.
and what was the motivation behind it?
Yeah, it was actually quite fun. So I almost took I got my finished KTH for like 20 years ago. Actually, my master thesis was in applied mathematics, and I actually built together with my friend in the thesis, we built a neural network that we used to optimize an engine for Scania. So we actually build, part of what you call today, of course, modern AI models. It's all about building neural networks, right? But of course, these networks are a lot bigger than what they were for this long time ago. So it was actually something that we were using because the foundational math, some of those parts has been around for a very long time. Right now, with all the new compute power and the latest insights in how to build these kind of models, it's been popularized and now it's just taking off like crazy. So it was actually a really important thing back then, but it was only for people who was really interested in math. And I spent pretty much 5 years of my life at KTH just studying math in different applied areas, like solid mechanics or sound and vibration, for example.
Yeah, and another catch-up question on that. Like he said, you graduated when AI was not like a big thing.
Yep.
How is it like doing such a big and a tough degree and getting such a high GPA without ChatGPT? Because I cannot imagine myself studying without ChatGPT for a day. But how is it for you?
No, but I think you will just be able to become a lot smarter than what you will be able to understand more complex things faster than I was, because you have a better tools now.
That's true.
Yeah.
But also, do you think, I mean, this is a pretty controversial question, but do you think ChatGPT is making people dumber?
There is a couple of studies on that, actually.
There is, yeah.
And to be sad, some of those studies shows that, I mean, it goes back to what I said about what I think is important and what I hope when I look at my kids. I really hope that they bring a couple of things with them in school, is that if you work hard, you can learn anything. 2, if you are really good on asking critical questions, then you can also try to understand everything. So if you're really good on those 2 things, you will be able to sort of learn anything. And today, if you're only using ChatGPT to go in and say, answer this, and the answer is 5, you take 5 and you put that into a test, will not learn you anything. You will not learn anything at all. But if you're using that and you get the answer 5 and you say, okay, interesting, why did I get answer 5? What are the other questions I should ask myself? What is it that, what would be a more complex version of this problem, for example? How can I understand this in another way? How can I apply this problem into this problem, for example? Then you will actually get out from solving that problem. You will understand 10 times more than I did, because it was very, we didn't have those kind of problems. But I was lucky because I had a lot of those smart people around me where we had a lot of these discussions, which made me really understand, like I said, the first principle thinking. Do I understand the problem behind the problem? And you can learn that a lot faster with GPT. But if you're only using it for an answering machine, put this question in, get 5 out, put that in, you will not learn anything, because your knowledge will be very, very shallow. So I think you need to be mindful how you're actually using it.
You mentioned something about how in your time you had a good group around you, and how let's say in our time we can have AI being like our tutor almost in a way, right? But how does that impact the soft skills, social skills? Because if you are more focused on getting knowledge from AI, which is obviously good,
Yeah.
but then you might also lose out on like how you're talking to other people. Do you think that plays a big role, or do you think it's more overestimated than we think it is?
No, but I think soft skills is extremely important.
Yeah.
I mean, how you collaborate with people and how you get people to actually, working with you and not against you is probably,
Yeah.
that's also going to be a extremely important skill in the future. That is very important. And I mean, I guess you can, if you ask yourself, if you look in your class, like, who is the person you would ask if you really have a big problem? And if you are that person to a lot of people, you're probably doing a really good job.
Mhm.
And if you're seen as not the nicest person,
Yeah.
and then I would say it's, of course there are individual contributors that are really, really good, but collaboration is going to be even more important in the future.
But now I have a really good question for you. Let's say you have two scenarios.
Yeah.
In one, there's a person with a really, really high GPA, really smart student, but that smartness is on an exam.
Yeah.
But in real life, that person, let's say, is really introverted or shy to talk,
Yeah.
cannot present themselves well. Other hand, you have a student, not bad grades, but like average grades. But on the other hand, they have like really good social skills. They can talk to anybody and present whatever, and they have like a lot of extracurriculars. Which one would you hire? Let's say if two of them apply to Keywordio, and
Yeah.
like why?
It's going to be based on the job. It's going to be very role based.
Let's say same profile for both of them.
Yeah. So if you go towards, like, for example, when we are hiring for our development team, we actually have a couple of thousand applications on these development roles.
Yeah.
And we put super high standards on, the logical parts and all of that. And there you can be a really, really valuable team player still as a very individual contributor. So then that is, you can be very, you don't need, the social skills are not the most important in that part. Still, you need to fit in the team and you need to be, it needs to work. But for example, if you have people that sort of, think about it as like people that work directly with our customers, for example, they need to be extremely good on collaborating with a lot of different teams, more of sort of like a consultancy profile. Then you will not get anything done if you're not really good on fast building relationship. So then it's extremely important.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very dependent on the role, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
So now based on this, now that we have AI and now that we have so many different types of people, there's like social people and social people.
Yeah.
How do you think students should be tested in exams? Should it be like written exams that only test their knowledge, or should it be, let's say, more like vivas where a teacher talks to the person, or should it be like very practical based? What do you think? How does exams need to be then?
Yeah, I think many schools today are probably quite afraid because they feel like, oh, the students are using AI to trick our exams.
Yeah.
And I think they are afraid of that. And I think they should stop thinking like that and actually start thinking like, how can we actually use this in a smarter way? So I think teachers in the future should build AI agents. And I think when you do an exam, you actually do an exam where you get the topic that you should prepare for, and then this agent will speak with you for 45 minutes and then actually grade you on how good your understanding about this topic is. And the teacher will then just working on training the agents. And then they will be able to read the full, what is called the trace analysis. They will actually see the whole transcript and see how you are sort of like, do you understand the problem behind the problem, and then do you understand the reasoning, or are you just trying to answer, the answer is 5 and try to move on?
So would you say there's a need to change the grading system and how people are assessed in exams, for example? Because you didn't mention like we need, like, for example, AI agents to like have a discussion and see what the candidate is like, where is he coming from, and have a trace analysis, for example. But the current system is not there yet, I would say. Obviously, there's the issue of like the current teachers not being able to build AI agents. So how can we fix that problem? Like how can we help this transition? And also, how do we grade them? Like, what are the criteria? What are the benchmarks that they're assessed against?
Yeah.
So I think there are clear studies today that if you have a personal tutor, you will get like 2 standard deviation better in terms of learning.
Okay.
So we already know that if everyone in the world would be able to have a personal tutor, you will learn faster. Yeah. So I think that is sort of, we already know that. The problem that we don't do this today is that we don't have the capacity to give everyone in the world a personal tutor. But now we actually have that. So if we were building agents and all of the big labs are working sort on this, I actually build agents for my kids. So they have an agent that actually is, Otto has one and Sigrid has one. So for example, they can help them to learn faster. But in terms of doing it for school at scale, also with the exam, that is not something you just solve overnight, right? But like I said, for the next exam that you have planned, what if you have that exam and your teacher would sit just beside you and you would answer the question and also explain how you are thinking. And you will actually walk through all of that.
Yeah.
I think the teacher will be able to say, actually, you have done a really good job. You really understand, because you will both see your actual answers. The teacher will understand your way of thinking and where you're sort of, actually, this person, didn't understand this, but he's on the way to understand that, for example.
Yeah.
And this is what you can do with AI. So it's not only speaking, it's just setting up the screen, having the video on, you are writing it out, and then you can discuss with it. I am very confident that this is a problem that will be solved in the future and will be a lot more efficient to assess knowledge than just doing a test.
Right. And you talk so much about AI agents. Is it like, how do you make one? Is it like any common person can make one, or is it really hard to make one?
Yeah, anyone can make it.
How do you do that?
And you can make the easiest versions. You take one of the most people today work with AI, and you have either free version of ChatGPT, or you're using anything from Anthropic or Google's Gemini, for example.
Yeah.
And what you do is that you take these foundation models that they are called, and in OpenAI, for example, there's something called custom GPTs that you can just Google it afterward and you can see. So you take like the latest one from OpenAI, 5.2, for example, and you give that what is called the system prompt. So it's pretty much just a basic instruction of like saying, hey, you're a personal tutor for Otto, my son. He's 8 years old. He's now studying math, Swedish, and this. His challenges are within this area. He needs to learn more about this. He has a small chemistry exam about water, for example.
Chemistry already?
So then this will be a very, very simple version of a first agent.
Right.
And then Otto will actually not speak to the general like OpenAI 5.2 model. He will actually speak for a customized OpenAI Otto version. And I typically name them with people's name, because then you actually speak to them as well.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a very simple one. And this one is something anyone can do, and you will also learn a lot more how they work as well.
I also want to just go back. We mentioned about like the world before AI and how, like at that point in time, obviously there's a transition phase, which means a lot of uncertainty, you have no idea what's going to happen in the future. And I mean, you yourself work in this AI industry now, and when you were in that position, what was your biggest challenge? Because it is difficult, like socially. Were you like challenged in the fact that why are you like continuing this new field that just came, which at that point maybe didn't have that much of like clarity, or you could have done something else?
No, but I mean, for example, machine learning has been around for a long time, and it's been used in many different cases. And before ChatGPT starts to be interesting for the world, there was a lot of great use cases. but the thing was that it was more interesting for people that were more interested in math or data science, because
Right.
they saw the power of this, like, whoa,
Yeah.
you can do this, and people got excited about that. And I was probably one of the people that got very excited, because I saw that was so interesting.
Yeah.
But then, of course, getting that to be something that everyone can use, that is not as easy. But I mean, in bank and fintech, for example, machine learning has been extremely important for a very long time in predicting fraud, for example, and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, most of the big tech companies are built on, I mean, graph database that just, Facebook is built on, can we find patterns between a lot of people on a social network, which is just a graph. Google is built on pretty much a graph database that is just really, really smart on finding things on the internet. I mean, these things have been around where you apply this type of technology in a very effective way.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been labeled as, now when you say AI today, people think it's a chatbot. There's a lot of different subsets in AI that is important to understand.
And throughout your experience, like, I mean, because you've seen AI from the start and now, like, what it is right now, right? Has there been something that has surprised you and, like, how much it has taken off? Was it something that you didn't expect at all? Or
No, I mean, and I mean, it began a lot earlier than
Yeah, of course.
than me
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah,
right?
no, of
So
course.
so it's extremely. I mean, it started a lot earlier than what I have seen, but
Yeah.
I would never been able to predict anything of this type of behavior. I mean, before the type of chatbot got so popular.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if you go into like OpenAI's YouTube channel, you can look at some of the earlier releases that they did. So they built like small games where sort of agents were playing with each other. This was before they released the GPT.
Yeah.
And then they sort of released it as a small test. And there was something with the chatbot where it actually like clicked for people. Like, Jesus, this is because, if you would have asked me before that, do you think the chat interface, like everyone thought they were really bad because you only had seen really bad experience, like rule-based systems with you put in hi and then you put like hello and then the bot like broke down for various reasons, like super bad user experience. And then suddenly it just worked and it felt like magic. So I mean, every product that really takes off needs to feel like magic. Because when Spotify was launched, you could play a song instant.
Yeah.
That was like insane. Because for me, I used to like, okay, I need to download this song for like hours on a like peer-to-peer network that was probably not, it was illegal, and then just getting that to work instantly felt like magic.
I have one question for you. Do you remember the first time you ever used ChatGPT? Because I remember mine, and I remember exactly how like mind blown I was. And I ran to show it to my brother, and then he put in some like his university stuff. Because I was in 10th grade when it came out, and he was in I think second year of uni.
Yeah.
And he put in some university stuff, and ChatGPT just coded everything for him. And I remember how like mind blown he was as well.
But you found it before him.
I found it before.
Oh, Jesus, that's a milestone. He will always be grateful for that. Yeah.
So do you remember your experience, like the first time you ever used GPT?
I think I don't remember the experience, but I remember the first time I heard about it.
Really?
So I had an interview, and the person just named GPT, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And then I think I just searched it, and it was even before they have released the interface, etc. So I actually had heard about OpenAI before they launched it, but it was more in terms of like I was interested in like I said, with the you should look up on YouTube this example where they have these agents playing around with each other. I mean, it's quite interesting that what they were able to do. They were also early on trying to build a robot hand, for example, and they killed that project later, for example. But I don't remember the first time actually writing with it, but I clearly remember when he said that he thought it would be very interesting, and that's where I like, yeah, I need to check this up.
Super cool.
No, I get the same for me as well. I mean, when I used AI the first time,
Yeah.
I was also in 10th grade,
Yeah.
and I used it for biology actually, and it was insane how I wrote my essay. I mean, hopefully my teacher didn't see this, but it was really good.
And back in the days, when it just came out, there was no AI detectors that were.
No,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, so you could just like,
Yeah.
I'm done.
But I think that's also a good point, because that means there's a lot of regulation that needs to be imposed when you're using AI. And I mean, talking about AI as well, like career choices, it's obviously a very big decision that any person takes, right? And ever since AI has been launched, there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of like doubts about which career paths to take, and how is that going to change different like career positions itself. What's your take on that? Like, do you think jobs will be like eliminated, or do you think new jobs will be created?
Yeah,
What's
I
your
think there
take?
will be a lot of new jobs created for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there will always be a big need in the world for smart people that works really hard and are really dedicated and are great team players. I think there will always be a great place for that. But like with anything, there's a lot of jobs today that people don't like to do. So I don't think just sitting and answering a customer support system is probably not the most motivated thing to do. I think there is a very high staff turnover in those things. That's also why some of the big, like airline companies, they outsource this, for example. And you know, the way they outsource it, that could probably be done more efficient.
Right.
But of course, the people that are really experts in this topic and this domain, they will be so valuable to work and build agents and train agents and make them even better, because they are the domain experts that really know how to solve this really, really well. But there, of course, will be a lot of people in that space that can do other things, for sure. Right now, there's a big need in the world for like labeling and training data for agents. I mean, this is something that the big AI labs spend a lot of money on, to acquire and set these kind of data sets up that you can use to train future models on.
I think we should move on from AI now.
Yep.
I have a few questions about Keywordio.
Yep.
The one question I had this since the time we met you at the breakfast,
Yep.
and I was keeping this in my mind. I wanted to save it for the podcast.
Yep.
Where did the name Keywordio come from? What's the reason behind this name?
So I used to work with a very talented person who was named Daniel, and he worked with me on another company, and he got headhunted to Google. So he came in one morning and he was super nervous, and it's like, Jonas, sorry, I need to quit because I got this amazing chance to work at Google. And I was like, congratulations. And then he moved to Google. And he worked there for a couple of years, and I managed to get him back actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So he came back and he worked for some time more. Then he came in once again and sort of was nervous and said like, yeah, now I'm gonna quit again. And then he's like, I'm gonna start the company Keywordio. So Daniel started Keywordio, and it was really based on, back then it was really a small agency. Daniel was doing Google ads for actually some really interesting brands in Sweden. Skin City was coming up and was one of the early clients for Daniel. And then there's also a very sad part of this story, that Daniel was also one of the, like I said, one of these people that extremely talented, had a really big heart, worked really hard. He actually got the brain tumor. So sort of just very fast after starting Keywordio, even before I had joined the company, he started it with one of his friends, Morten, on Google. He actually passed away, which is extremely sad, and life can be very unfair. So we lost Daniel, and then I had a long walk with Morten and we decided that let's restart Keywordio and bring it up to what Daniel dreamt about before. So that's also one of the reasons why I'm very proud of building Keywordio.
And I'm also pretty sure Daniel is pretty proud of what you have done with
thanks,
Keywordio.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no, and I mean, for someone who doesn't know Keywordio, how would you explain, like, what type of problem does it solve, and how would you explain the company?
Yeah. So we started off as a very niche digital agency, and today we have built out, so we are really a big agency that work with all the big tech companies like Google, Meta, Pinterest, TikTok, and now with everything that is happening within AI, we're also building AI agents specifically. So we're also starting to do this quite a lot, to build custom-made agents for specific tasks for companies. And it could be big global companies like Scania that needs an agent to help their service organization or their sales team, or an e-commerce company that needs help with having a custom agent for customer support, for example. But it's also about, how can we really impact sales with more efficient digital marketing. We're helping online companies to grow.
Yeah,
Right.
and just talking about helping, I mean, what is the one like real life impact that Keywordio has seen during its duration? And I mean, you were a part of this, so like, was there a company that like was impacted by Keywordio's contributions, or?
Yeah, and I think the fun part with when you work with anything related to online sales, you do something one day and you can see the impact really fast. And that's that is really fun, but it can also be very challenging. So of course there are a lot of different niches when you're selling things online. Could be if you're selling B2B services, or if you're selling e-com online, for example, direct to consumers. But you definitely see effect really fast. When you look at this over time, we have some amazing companies like Nordic Knots, for example, which is one of Sweden's most fastest growing, and also with a really good profitability as well, selling rugs globally. And I mean, this is a very challenging market. It's really fun to work with very ambitious people that are really good on what they are doing, and we have a really great collaboration. And so I'm very proud of those kind of things. You really see the impact in the numbers.
Yeah. And now that you're talking about you working with people, I remember at our breakfast meeting, you told about that you've been to India a lot of times, and you have a really good colleague from India. Would you like to tell us about your experiences about that, and what the colleague's name was?
Yeah, it was. We have an amazing team. We started a company in Pune. It was Morten and Daniel who started.
Pune?
Yeah, in Pune.
It's pretty close to where I'm from.
It's close? Yeah. How close is it?
I'm from Mumbai, and
okay.
from
Yeah, that's
Mumbai to Pune, it's like a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's like 100 kilometers, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I flew into Mumbai.
You have?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's a big city. I'm from the countryside in Sweden, so Mumbai is like.
It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, but I'm extremely proud of our team in India. We have been building this company for almost like 10 years. And last time I was there, we had this amazing offsite with the whole team, and it was outside in the jungle. It was actually a military camp. So we were training survival tactics for leopard attacks in the middle of the jungle.
Leopard attacks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably a topic for another podcast. But it was it was great, and it was really fun to do it with a team. It's great.
And what was your favorite thing about India? Did you like the food? Did you like the culture, people? What was your favorite thing?
Yeah, I think I am impressed by, how I get treated when I get there.
Like the hospitality.
Yeah,
Exactly, the hospitality. Exactly. I'm like I'm extremely impressed by that, and it's so genuine. And I almost get like. As a Swede, so that's different. And of course, the Swedish hug is one thing. That is not something you do in India.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not as normal, but that's what we do in Sweden, right? So
Yeah.
that's also different.
Right.
Yeah, I like the food as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite food?
Yeah, chicken tikka masala is my
Oh,
favorite.
course.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
and naan bread as well, of course.
Naan
bread,
yeah.
yeah.
Garlic naan bread, of course.
Garlic naan,
Yeah.
I love that as
Yeah.
well.
My personal favorite, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe we can move on to the
Yeah.
slideshow.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually a really interesting
Yeah.
analogy here. If you could just kind of walk us through where does Keywordio operate and what exactly are we seeing here?
Yeah. So I think that when you go into like ChatGPT today,
Yeah.
and you just go into the interface and you ask a question, you only see the top of the iceberg. But for OpenAI to be able to deliver this service
Right.
to any user everywhere in the world, on desktop, mobile, etc., wherever, there's of course a really big and complex tech stack underneath.
Mhm.
So I think it's interesting to actually look at what do you need to have underneath the surface there.
Yeah.
You need to have a front end, you need to have memory, you need to have different tools. Like when you ask, can I find a sneaker shoe in Stockholm that costs less than 500 SEK?
Yeah.
What is happening behind the scenes there is actually that OpenAI sent out a web search crawler that
Mhm.
try to find this on the internet for you. So that is a tool that they are using, for example.
Yeah.
So that's one tool. Then you can continue all the way down. You have different layers here. You can go down to the sort of the data layers to train the models, or even down to the database, or even all the way down to the data centers where you have the there. And I think when I meet people that think about like what should you build or what should you just buy,
Mhm.
this is actually a pretty good thing to understand, because most of the when I do workshops with big companies that, you know, what should you build an agent for, you typically get these wide big examples of we need to have an agent that transcribes our Teams call, Microsoft Team calls, for example.
Mhm.
But that is not something you should build as a company, because you will be given this for free for Microsoft Teams in the future.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to spend money on this. But if you have a very niche vertical problem, like doing background checks or know your customer, KYC, for a Swedish bank with the regulatory system in Sweden and GDPR and all of those regulations, that is a very niche thing.
It is.
That is not something that GPT 6, 7, or 8 will just solve automatically in
Yeah.
the future, right? So that is a problem that is worth really spending time on if you can make this an important part for your business.
Makes sense.
So I think understanding this iceberg and understanding what you are building or just buying
Mhm.
is something I think is important.
Also, I mean, obviously, there are a lot of layers to this, and it is kind of complicated.
Yep.
Like OpenAI, where do they operate? And based on that, like, if you're a new player in the market,
Yep.
is there a certain level that you want to like that you would say is a little bit easier to like enter in?
Yep.
Because of like barriers to entry, or is it too saturated?
No, I don't. I mean, there's going to be a lot of opportunities here, and I mean, if you just look at if you go all the way to the top,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of companies just build like full-on experience just for one specific use case. For example, we have like, for example, Lovable in Sweden is one. They're doing amazing job. I mean, that's a pretty wide use case, right?
Yeah.
If we can help everyone to build an app or code, that's a very wide use case.
Yeah.
So they are just really good on building this faster and faster, and this is really something that takes off. In this space, there are also, I mean, Microsoft is there with the Copilot, right? Cursor is there. There's going to be high competition in this space, but that's a very wide problem, because you can apply this in like automotive, in e-com, in any space.
Yeah.
So that's a very wide space, but it's still they actually they build the whole iceberg, right?
Yeah.
But then there are also spaces like, if we only do all agents in the future that are custom made for companies will need to have access to your company's data in a safe and structured way.
Yeah.
You can just build that layer. Just build that layer and make this data optimized for these agents. That's going to be a use case. And that is going to be very valuable as well. You can also be the company that is selling the data. I think you had one of the founders on the Swedish company.
Right, by AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anders, yeah.
Exactly, Anders. And I think that's, if you haven't listened to that one, you should listen to it, because I think they're doing a really good job. And I mean, they are just focusing on how can we sell data that will be important in the future to build agents.
Mhm.
So that's sort of also in the quite low down in the stack of training these agents.
Yeah, of course. We all had a slide about, here we go, wide and niche.
Yeah.
And I mean, so basically, do correct me if I'm wrong. You're basically saying that if you want to, like, you don't want to be on top of the iceberg, really, because all these big tech companies can easily, like, replace you, I guess.
Mm.
But rather, you want to have a fundamental, like, role at the bottom of the iceberg, right? So maybe somewhere at ETL or in the database sector.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I think if you go for the top of the iceberg,
Yeah.
then I think you should be very niche, or you should be very confident that, we can be faster and better than all of these AI labs.
Yeah.
For example.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you are that, like, if you have enough escape velocity, so you're actually faster, like Lovable is one example. That is, they are building the full stack, right?
Yeah.
And then they are using different models from the AI labs underneath. Cursor are doing the same. They just build a really, really good experience for a developer, and then they can decide whatever AI models they want to have underneath, right? So that's the sort of the full stack example.
Yeah.
But I think if let's say that you're a company like, for example, Scania,
Mhm.
and you're looking into different projects in your organization, what to build versus what to buy,
Yeah.
then I think it's very important to find these niche use cases that are very valuable for your business, that will not be just solved with, imagine if the GPT 5.2 is 10 times more intelligent than what it is today. It's quite hard to imagine.
Right.
But let's just try to think about that. Will this problem be able to be solved then, that you're trying to solve? And if that is a very hard problem where you need to have clean data that is accessible to the agent, that's still going to be a problem in 2, 3, or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because that is not just solved automatically by a smarter model.
Yeah.
But if you have a problem today that sort of the reasoning models today is not really solving, it sort of doesn't solve it,
Yeah.
then I mean, those are probably areas that are quite interesting to solve. And honestly, when these models today win Olympic gold medal in math, they are pretty good on reasoning, right? So there's going to be very, very few problems that, honestly,
Yeah.
if the problem is scoped and clear enough,
Yeah.
they will be able to reason through most of this.
I'm a bit curious about we talked about development.
Yep.
And when you're working with AI, like when you're working towards something that you can't, it's difficult to imagine. How does that journey look like? Like, how do you develop something that is difficult to think about? And what are in your opinion, for the current AI industry, what are the next few objectives that the industry is kind of working towards?
So I think if you look at the space, of course there is one space just building direct to consumer products, and I mean that's the one you're using ChatGPT on your spare time, for example. That is one space. But I am focusing more on how do you use AI agents inside companies today. Then there's going to be so many things related to how do we give this agent access to our old systems that doesn't have API. They are very important, but we cannot share the data in a secure way.
Mhm.
So just solving those things when you're building these agents will be a very important problem to solve. So that is just one small area that will be need to work on a lot the coming years, because otherwise these agents will not be able to sort it. The human, they will just go into this old system and then look at this number or data point, and then will go into another system, look this up, and then they will solve the problem that they are tasked with.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big problem for a long time.
And I mean, talking about the AI application, I mean, I think we have it on the next slide on how like in different departments of a business, how do you like use AI in what ways? And maybe you can go over this chart that we have here.
Yeah.
What this means.
No, but I do a lot of workshops with the management board, and one of the things I see is important that to actually pretty much just start off with their org chart,
Okay.
and then just look at the org chart, and then when you hire a new person in your IT team or in your finance team or in your R&D team,
Yeah.
what is it that you teach that person? So then you say, yeah, we teach them this, and they have this curriculum, and then they are certified in this area, and then they learn this, and they work together with our most senior person.
Yeah.
But pretty much many of those things will be able to be broken out into an agent.
Mhm.
And if you see that those teams maybe need more capacity, maybe you should have actually a layer like we have in this graph here. So you have a layer of human in your org chart,
Yeah.
but you also have a layer of agents that are customized for these teams.
Okay.
And over time, I think we will start to see that let's say that we have an agent built for a finance team that is really good on analyzing the P&L report, for example.
Mhm.
It breaks down all the countries. It looks into, for say, how marketing is distributed ad spend over different platforms, for example.
Yeah.
And it can find these things, and it can work 24/7 to find these patterns. This is probably an agent that also can help out the marketing team. So these agents should probably start to collaborate in the future, because marketing maybe have an agent that is really good on writing content or creating ads or something like that, and then these agents can collaborate. And you know, if that analyst agent finds that we're not doing so good in this market,
Yeah.
what is wrong? We are losing traffic on our website. Okay, how can we increase that? So those kind of like basic things will, and I mean, there are already a lot of our customers that has started to work like this right now. So you have a layer of agents in your organization that collaborates.
Mhm. And I mean, you said that you already have companies that are working in this format.
Yep.
When you use AI agents with like humans as well, how does that change your organization structure, like your span of control? And because now obviously you're not only like, let's say you're a manager, for example, let's say you're head of finance. Not only are you working with real humans, but you're also working with AI agents, which might even be in a way like a competition, right? Like for the people working like under someone, it's a competition with the AI agents. Is that the case? And if it is, then like how does a human kind of like save his or her spot when you have AI agents doing
The same thing.
same thing with usually a better
Precision,
precision, better accuracy, and also faster?
Yeah.
Have you had an AI model hallucinate and saying something that is not true to you anytime?
In math, 100%.
Yeah. Was it obvious?
Yes.
Yeah, it was obvious. Yeah,
It was obvious.
so it was quite easy. So
Yeah.
you saw it directly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I have one question for you.
Yeah.
This question, I know every viewer wants to hear this question, especially if they're from SSE.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a bachelor's graduate,
Yeah.
economics major, and they want to start working at Keywordio as someone in the finance sector.
Yeah.
What could they expect as a starting salary package?
Oh, starting salary. That's a good one. Yeah. We have not had any that comes straight from that position. I think we are hiring right now. We are hiring freshers in Pune. I think in the range of. I'm a big believer that actually you should. I think there's a lot of people with high expectations. Honestly, to be fair, like and specifically from Handels, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
You come in and you believe that, of course, I understand you have worked really hard to the point where you where you are, but you also have really high expectations on salary packages. And I think also as an owner, you want to see people coming in and being like, I understand I need to learn a lot. I need to understand that I need to work a lot to actually get into being productive and being able to contribute. And I think having a good discussion with anyone who starts, where they are and where they need to be in 6 months, and having that plan so you can have a good growth and getting to a point where you have a good salary. But I'm not in terms of like, I mean, we're a small company, right? Yeah, and if you are, of course, there are big tech companies that can give big salary packages that we will never be able to compete with. So I think there's always a mismatch in terms of expectations and what you can expect. So I'm not going to say a number, but I think having a very humble and a very dedicated mindset, and to understand that you need to work really hard to get to that point, then you will be able to grow into any role. Yeah, it's not really answering your question straight up, but what do you think about that answer?
I think, I mean, I get exactly from your perspective.
Yep.
If I was in your perspective, I would have maybe said the same thing.
Yeah.
Because given the size of the company and like everything else, you cannot tell a number. And again, it's going to be different if, let's say, this is Keywordio, and on the other hand, we have, let's say, Apple.
Yeah.
The starting salary could differ like quite a range. But your answer does make sense, even though if it doesn't exactly answer what I asked. But I get it from your perspective, so I mean, I would agree with it, but not fully.
No.
Pretty interesting.
I mean, honestly, like understanding a bit more about the business model also. I've had conversations with my classmates, for examples, and obviously people know what AI is. People know what, like, how do companies work. But what I realized is that there's a big gap in understanding how the model actually works. Like, what are the financial cash flows? Like, where's the money coming from? What are your expenses? And also, like, let's say in Sweden, like for Keywordio, what's your competition? Do you have a lot of competitors? And if not, is it easy? Like, what is a barrier to entry? Like, is it easy to become a competitor, for example, or?
So in terms of business model for Keywordio, I mean, Keywordio is a digital agency, and we are really specialized on like helping companies solve their problems selling more online. And of course, it could be offline as well, but then a touch point in that customer journey will probably be online. So if you're selling cars, then you probably book the car test drive online. So that's a very important part, for example. And in that part, like right now, today, they're like, you don't go to the physical stores to look at the cars anymore, because you do all the research online, and you book 1 or 2 test drives, and you maybe go by a showroom in town, and then you buy your car. So that customer journey has completely changed from where it was 5 years ago. And now it's very important, all the touch points that you have online. So we are helping solving that. But if you go back, for example, 10 years ago, there was a lot of companies everywhere that built websites. And then there were also a lot of solutions trying to build websites easier, like WordPress, Shopify has done a really, really good job. And of course, it will be the same with agents. And in the future, you will be able to sell agents that cost 10 million SEK to buy, and you will be able to sell agents that cost nothing. And there will be a difference between all of them, but it makes sense, because if you have something that is maybe an agent for, healthcare or a doctor, you would actually expect that to be really, really good. Or doing a background screening, know your customer for a bank, for example. It will be worth, because it's like with a website. If you're going to build a big e-com store, then you need to have a website that can manage, a couple of million visitors. And that site will cost a lot more than just doing, my little blog on a WordPress site. So it's going to be a wide space. And it's also going to be a lot of work with these agents because, like I said, imagine if you're building an agent for a finance team, and then you start to see it's answering not correct. Then you need to have somebody who really understands, controls, and tests these agents continuously.
Yeah.
And that's not going to go away. So that's what I see in the future.
Yeah, and also like I mean, you obviously work with different types of clients, and coming from a retail industry, like for example, let's say it's a clothing company, and often like when consumers are buying something, for example, a jacket, perhaps a lot of them like tend to go to the actual store, like in-house store, like and how like use your five senses to like look at the jacket and then they buy it, right?
Yep.
But I mean, obviously there is a growing trend of like e-commerce, for example. But have you had any difficulties, like in the e-commerce sector, that, like, for example, it's a clothing company, and how do you guys really like drive the sales? Because even still, I believe a lot of people would prefer going like in-house, trying out clothes, trying out sizes, just because it seems like a safer option. So, do you deal with that problem on a daily basis, or?
Yeah, and I mean selling online is in one sense very simple.
Yeah.
What's the traffic we have on our site? What's the conversion rate? If you have 1,000 visitors and you have a conversion rate of 10%, then you have 100 clients after a day. And what's the average order value? If that is 1,000, then you have sold for 100,000.
Yeah.
So what do you do to increase more traffic, to increase conversion rate? And I mean, now this is very simplified thing, but this is something that will be very important to continuously work on. But also, like let's say that you're building a customer support agent that actually does a really good job in sales.
Yeah.
Then maybe that agent should be active on your website because it can actually help you. Well, if you bought this product, maybe you should also buy this product, for example. If the users are interested in that kind of help.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like that for all verticals. There are going to be spaces where, hey, I'm only here to buy this lamp, and this is only the reason. I don't want to buy the sofa.
Yeah.
So it's just annoying with having an agent that tries to like buy the sofa, right?
Yeah.
So you need to figure this out specifically for your niche.
Okay. And I mean, from now on, in the next 5 years, how do you think? I guess starting from the e-commerce industry, because then would you say that the e-commerce like players, they kind of share the customer segment with like the in-store retail stores, for example?
Yeah.
And if they have, because they have the same customer base, right?
Yeah.
So in the next 5 years, do you think there's going to be a massive shift to like people switching to like online mediums? And then how would that impact like the in-store businesses?
So right now we have a pretty good understanding of how much traffic actually comes from AI traffic.
Yeah.
So most of our clients have like 0.2% of their traffic to their website coming from like chatbots.
Yeah.
Very small. Of course, there's a lot of hype about it, but it's very small.
Yeah.
We also know that there's an interesting study I can share it to. You can share it in a link done by, I think this is from Yale and Harvard and OpenAI together. So the intent of product-related searches on ChatGPT today is only 2%. So people do a lot of things on ChatGPT that is not related to product searches. So people are actually not so interested in ChatGPT to do the shopping right now.
Okay.
This can change over time, and I think it will. And it will change over time when OpenAI starts to push more better product understanding. Because right now, Google has the biggest product catalog in the world because they have the product feed to pretty much all e-commerce stores in the world.
Yeah.
So they have a really good understanding of what people are buying, how that is. So that helps them to build the world's best search engine for products, right?
Yeah.
And that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But this will, of course, change a lot over time. And you just need to be following where this is going. But I think it will be dependent on, let's say I'm only interested to buy groceries for my home. It's not, I just want to have it done.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to eat this, Otto and Sigrid want to eat this, and Louise want to eat this on Wednesday. It's like, send off that agent that can buy that make it, ship it to my door. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if I want to, like, if I really like shopping and I want to buy this new jacket, for example,
Yeah.
I probably think it's quite fun to actually look at like Instagram, or like look at Pinterest, or like find different more inspirational things. And I
Yeah.
would like to look at all the different brands. And I probably spend quite a lot of time in discovery there because I actually like that part.
Yeah.
I like to make that purchase. I don't want to give that away to an agent. Hey,
Yeah.
buy my jacket.
Yeah.
Some people do, but not everyone. So it will be dependent. Like, what are you selling? Like buying B2B SaaS products, like software. It will be a lot of agents working on that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because like you know, I need to buy a product feed management tool, send off that agent, find the 10 the best ones. This is my spec. Which one should I go for?
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be a lot of like agent traffic that will be in this part.
Yeah.
So it will be what you're selling, what's your niche, selling software, selling clothes, selling groceries. It will be very, very different, I think.
Okay, now I think we're gonna come outside of the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Again, on you. I have, we are almost at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
It's been lovely talking to you and like all the insights that you gave
too
to
as
us.
well. Yeah.
Now I have 2 questions from you, just from my side. My first is, do you have a hidden talent that nobody knows? And today is the day you can tell it.
Yeah, the hidden
Talent that
Yes.
nobody knows. I think I do. My memory is really good, but it's very short. So
Okay.
things that are great,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good on remembering those things.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But things that are not so good,
Mhm.
I forget pretty fast.
Okay.
So
Also-
this, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this gives me a superpower, that I am a very positive person.
So I hope you're gonna remember us and be podcast.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But you're on the good side,
It's a
right?
good
Yeah,
experience.
we had a really
Yeah.
good time. But I forget things pretty fast
Yeah.
that are not relevant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's helped me to
I
stay
think
very
that's
positive.
useful.
Yeah, because now in your brain you just store the important stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I hope the things that I think are
Yeah,
important. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And my next question is, okay, I know you have achieved so much in life already, but do you still have, because like I personally think when you live, you always live with like a dream of achieving something more and more and more. Do you still have something that you think you're yet to achieve, or something that is keeping you like moving on further and further, like a dream of your life that you have now?
Mm. Yeah, the older I get, I realize that I think I need to be more grateful.
Right.
Yeah, because I think I have the best life ever.
Mm-hmm.
I have this amazing family to come home to, that we are planning and doing things together. I mean, that is like, I am so grateful for that.
Mhm.
But being grateful and happy where you are, I think that doesn't mean you want to do a lot of more things.
Right.
So for example, where we are with Keywordio and what we're building in AdHelp and the software we're building there, it feels like we haven't even started. I think we have so much that is undone, and I think we can achieve so much more. So I mean, still being very grateful where you are, and I think also for like you guys who are in school and everybody who is listening. I mean, taking the time to really reflect, because the time in school is something that I am so grateful for that time. So make sure to enjoy that, and you are in a really, really good place. So being grateful is something I would say everyone can actually be better on.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's really nice to hear,
Yeah.
especially from you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jonas. It was lovely talking to you, and very insightful, and a lot of, I think, very knowledgeable as well.
Yeah, like I learned a lot, like just from today and you explaining
Yeah.
the stuff, like all the different aspects. I think I learned a lot, definitely, and I hope the viewers. I mean, I don't hope. I know they learned a lot. But it was really, really good talking to you,
Thank you for coming.
and I hope you liked it as well.
I liked it, and once again, congratulations to where you are, and look forward to listen to more of your episodes in the future.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thanks, guys.